Holy shit. Now that is how you do a series finale. I just watched the final episode of Stranger Things, so here's the good and the bad with full spoilers, because there's no other way to talk about this. You have been warned. Spoiler warning. Let's start at the beginning. The first 40-ish minutes, I thought, were the weakest part of the episode. While we got some nice moments between Mike and Eleven, Mike and Will, and even a little cute exchange between Erica and Mr. Clark, the pacing leading up to the climax just felt off. It just didn't feel as urgent as it should have. I did appreciate them giving us a glimpse of Joyce's school production of Oklahoma, which is very significant in the first Shadow stage play, but in the end it kind of felt inconsequential, and I'm a bit disappointed that they didn't draw more from Henry's really fascinating backstory. Now that said, once Dustin put 30 seconds on the clock for the Abyss to start crashing down on them, the pace really picked up, and the episode got a lot more exciting. While it was yet another death fake out, Steve hanging off the edge of the tower was really shocking. Then Eleven facing Vecna in his memories was pretty cool, and I love how they reiterated the theme of the show. The kids are smarter than you think. And then there was some amazing CGI with Vecna's hand. Delightful Derek was once again hilarious, a real MVP, and I like that they still made some time for levity, largely thanks to Derek and Lucas. And good on Derek for saving Holly, telling Vecna to suck my fat one, and his holy shitballs in the mine shaft. Jonathan and Steve had a nice reconciliation in this stretch as well, even if it disrupted the dramatic build of the episode. Then Vecna preying on Hopper I thought was tense, and gave us some really shocking images, even if it was another death fake out. But David Harbour got to do a lot in this episode and really delivered on all of his emotional monologues. Also, excellent work from Jamie Campbell Bower. He was creepy and sad as Henry, and I'm glad that they brought him to the edge of being redeemed, but then didn't do it. The helicopter explosion was spectacular, really incredible effects there, and it was super satisfying to see Eleven fully use her powers against the military guys. Then we got a really sweet retrospective of Elle and Hopper's relationship, well acted by the two of them, and finally we learned that the contents of the briefcase connected Henry to the hive mind and the mind flayer. And I found that thematically rich, that the mind flayer used Henry just like Elle was manipulated by Brenner. It felt like the whole show coming together, thematically speaking. Then we got some great stuff from Will force timing with Vecna, really good acting from Noah in that scene, and then, at last, the big final battle. The hand becoming the mind flayer was just amazing, revealing the craziest monster of all. And I mean, what a wild, epic sequence. Eleven then going up against the mind flayer, and then fighting Vecna inside of it. It was just so smart to cross-cut between large and small-scale action. I really felt like Nancy was in peril when it was coming after her, and then it was just so satisfying to see the kids use the flamethrowers, and then for Steve and Dustin to be stabbing those sacks underneath the monster, and of course Will using his powers and reiterating, "We're not afraid of you." I mean, just what a climax. Unbelievable visual effects, writing, and editing. In the end, all the pacing issues in that first chunk were worth it for that big battle scene. But did you notice that dust/smoke monster leaving the kids? Is it still out there? Anyway, we then got Joyce beheading Vecna, and the montage of all their trauma was really powerful. I think it's just a little too bad that Max and Hopper couldn't be there for the final battle. This then led into the great Prince needle drops, When Doves Cry and Purple Rain. And by this point, I saw Eleven's sacrifice coming, but I thought her and Mike's goodbye was properly emotional. The flashbacks here were effective, and then the explosion of the Upside Down looked cool as hell. The only thing is, I rubbed up against Elle sacrificing herself because Kay's new experiments weren't really fully developed enough. But it turns out that might not even have mattered. And that then brings us to this beautiful elongated epilogue. Starting with the perfect Fleetwood Mac needle drop, I love the full circle moment of Robin narrating on the radio. The emotion in her voice was palpable. Steve becoming a coach and sex ed teacher was such a logical ending place for him. There were cute moments between Max and Lucas. It was nice to know that Dustin's mom still exists and that he became valedictorian. And his speech was really resonant and again thematically on point. The whole graduation scene felt very John Hughes. And in general, it was just lovely to see all the characters happy. The roof scene with Steve, Robin, Nancy, and Jonathan was really sweet. Fantastic work again from Maya Hawke. And we've got to talk about Joyce and Hopper maybe moving to Montauk. The Montauk experiments are what first inspired the Duffer Brothers to create Stranger Things. If those characters are going there, will weird shit go down? Is this setting up a spin-off? Maybe. And then fittingly, the show ended with the gang playing D&D. This was such a fun, touching, and energetic scene. The flash forwards were beautiful, and I love the ambiguous twist of Eleven possibly surviving. They all really sold it. And then Holly and her friends taking over was a wonderful cherry on top. Cue David Bowie's We Could Be Heroes, and what else could you want? Despite the pacing issues at the start, overall this finale struck the perfect balance of big action and grounded heart. Now, it didn't answer every single question about the lore, and the hive mind smoke monster thing might still be out there in Dimension X. Pair that with Eleven also maybe surviving, and I think the door has been left open a crack for more. Maybe some movies down the line? I mean, did you catch the sign in the end credits? Leaving Hawkins, come back again soon.